wow, this episode, I tell you, like, loved it, honestly. But anyways, guys, what is going on? Ali here, back again with another review for you guys today. For Danmachi, Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, Season 3, Episode 4. I believe it's 4. And honestly, it's probably my second favorite episode of this season. And it's actually a lot more just dialogue and information, like, written, more dialogue driven, actually. And, like, because there's a lot of stuff that Uranos and Hestia, the stuff going on with them, like what Hestia is questioning to Uranos, saying that what is the dungeon, and he's saying that, like, the dungeon is the dungeon. He's talking about, like, how, like, the humans, like, when they die, they get sent, their soul gets sent back to heaven, they go down. But then he questions, where do monsters' souls go, right? They go back to the dungeon. This is just like Uranos' assumption, which actually makes complete sense, that their souls go back into the dungeon and then get rebirthed into another type of being and whatnot. That sounds like, again, like, it makes complete sense what Uranos was saying, that, like, if humans get sent back to heaven, their soul, and then comes back down to the lower world, where do the monsters that get killed go? Where do their souls go? And his assumption is that the dungeon, which is their mother and whatnot, because they get birthed from the dungeon itself and everything. Like it makes a lot of sense that, like, if they die within the dungeon, or like in one of the levels and stuff, they pretty much the monster souls get, like, reincarnated back into the dungeon. Like, it's just a cycle of pretty much reincarnation, whatever, just like the humans in this show. So it's like they're not so much, like, extremely different or anything, and you're learning more about this when Uranos is talking about, like, this stuff with Hestia and everything. And then you get to see more of the interactions with all of, like, Haruhime and Mikoto, which, first of all, Haruhime and Mikoto, when you're seeing those adorable still shots of, like, one of the harpy girls, like, pushing Mikoto to, like, dance with I believe Rei, who is the other, like, harpy, the beautiful looking one, the green, yellow, and white colored one. She's gorgeous and everything, like, pushing her to her, and then Mikoto looks like she's starting to dance and stuff. That was so freaking cute and everything. And then there's another still shot where you see Haruhime dancing with Mikoto, which is just, it was so cool and everything. And then you got to hear more dialogue with Lid and Belle and everything, and Lily and them, and they're all wondering, like, who are you guys? Like, why are you guys able to talk like this and such? And, like, even Lid doesn't even know and whatever. He's saying that, like, the XENOS are what Uranos, like, calls us and stuff. Like, he decided to call them, and then the guild, not even the guild knows and everything, but Uranos was telling the guild, like, to do things for him and stuff like that, to, like, help protect them. Like, Uranos wants to help protect these XENOS, these creatures, these monsters who are not only ostracized by humans, obviously, they see monsters and they want to kill them, but also, like, other monsters themselves. So it's very interesting that they are ostracized, but at the same time, all of these, like, these caverns that they are in and everything are, like, they seem somewhat, like, protected, in that they always go, there's several places that are pretty much safe points, and that place that they call a village, like, it's a safe point to where no monsters spawn in that section, like, whatsoever. And there's several places like that in the dungeon, from what we understand from what Fels says, which is, he turns out, like, the guy in the black cloak, turns out he's a sage who used to be human and stuff, and he used the Philosopher's Stone. He was the only one and everything, and, like, pretty much he's, like, the assistant to Uranos now, and, like, he's a human, or he used to be a human that had, like, that found, like, the like, eternal life, and he had an obsession with eternal life. That was so cool to see this dude, and that, like, he's actually like, pretty much a great sage who, like, was obsessed with life and eternal life, and then because of that, he ended up like he is right now, and he's considered Fels the Fool, which is a little sad, but also, like, you reap what you sow, and you know what I'm saying? So, like, just to see, like, fully his character and everything was pretty good. It was pretty cool to see. And then like their continued interaction with all these monsters and well, not monsters, Xenos. And then obviously there's some Xenos who kind of resent that like humans and whatnot, and they don't want to go near them. There's always that group in like in another like group that like doesn't want to interact with like people who they think will discriminate against them and whatnot, even though Belle and them look like they are like great people and whatnot. There's always that group that has like that certain section of a group that has like that hesitation with wanting to interact with possibly coexistence and whatnot. And like just to see that was pretty cool and stuff. Obvious stuff that would happen within a group that's trying to coexist with somebody else and everything. Like it seems like a very like a kind of an obvious thing and whatnot. So, and also hearing a lot of those like Xenos' dreams and whatnot with like Ray and Lid, that Ray is talking about like I want to feel like embraced and stuff. I want to feel like what it's like falling in love. I want to fall in love and whatnot. And just hearing them talking about this stuff, it's like, are they really monsters? Like they seem more like human-like than monsters, really, like at all. Even the ones that actually look like lizardmen, like Lid, talking about how like he thinks that maybe in his previous life he like saw the sunset and whatnot, because he's saying that he dreams of this red sky and whatnot, like talking about it so like poetically, just like Ray's talking so poetically about like, I want to spread my wings underneath the real sky and everything and the actual sun and whatnot. And it was so beautiful to hear that, along with Lid talking about how like he dreams of a literal sunset, which Belle was talking about, and then like even he doesn't even know that like what it is, but he dreams it, and Lid is like, Lid's saying that it probably was his like previous life or whatnot, and like that was just like sounded really cool, and also made more sense with like, you know, their desire and will that Uranus was talking about, like the will of the dungeon or the desire of the dungeon, their mother that like accumulated over time for so long. Like maybe it's the will of the monsters, like their souls like just accumulating this stuff for so long that they started to become like intellectual, like intelligent beings or intelligent creatures and whatnot. Or it's just the will of the dungeon, like the dungeon wants this to happen now, and that the dungeon has made these safe places for them and stuff. And honestly, it was just really cool like to just hear that type of like dialogue interaction and whatnot. It sounded so beautiful and heartwarming, and also sad at the same time that they still can't do it yet. And like that was just a lot of that was just really good moments throughout this episode also. Like that was pretty cool. And then there was an also section in the episode where you see Hermes and Osfi, right? And you see Osfi seems like she was trying to tail like Ikalos's family and whatnot, but she couldn't. Their intuition is like just like what Hermes said, that's really good and whatnot. So that was like a very interesting thing to see, that even Osfi and the Hermes Familia couldn't even like catch up to them while they were in the dungeon, whatever, and they all split up and everything. And it seems like Dix is a very I'm pretty sure he's a pretty high level adventurer, or not even an adventurer, he's a hunter and everything. So that's very interesting that even Fels said that like 10 years ago he would, I think Fels said that 10 years ago that Dix was or was it Fels? I don't think it was Fels. Was it Hermes? One of them. But he said that like Dix was 10 years ago, he was a level 4, already a level 4. So what is he now? Is Dix level 5 or level 6? Honestly, I thought this episode they were going to actually kill like all of these monsters, like they were actually going to be able to follow like to follow Belle, but they didn't, because like, you know, the Hermes Familia was like messing with that and everything. So that's pretty cool to see like the interaction with Uranus and Hestia and everything, and that like the only like gods and goddesses that know of like Weenie and all of the Xenos are Hermes, Hestia, and Ganesha. And that's also the reason why Ganesha had that coliseum with like the monsters and stuff like that. Like that's so cool. Like Uranos told him to like do that stuff and whatnot, and like it seems like he like, which was kind of funny with like Hestia's reaction to like Ganesha knowing like what's going on, because he seemed like a guy that can't keep secrets and whatnot. So I thought that was like really hilarious, and like a lot of the episode was really good. Obviously the music is always great in this show, like, you know, with that like simple like Celtic bar type of like music, like like I love that stuff, and it was so great to see all of them like interacting, and then Seguini like interacting with all of them too and everything. And like, man, at the end when they had to leave Weenie and go back to the surface for now, you know, he yelled like, "I'll see you again." Like I felt so like heartbroken that Weenie had to go with Lid and Ray and all of them, with all of the XENOS and such, to not only just like to help Belle and them so they can't be like, you know, found out about what happened, but also Weenie doesn't have to like worry about being discriminated against, and she's with her own kind, and she can be happy there, but she wants to be with Belle all the time, and seeing her crying and stuff. I honestly thought that Belle and Haruhime were going to hug her or something like that, or they were going to cry and such. Well, Belle kind of did, like he screamed, "We'll see each other again," and that was just a very heartbreaking type of scene that occurred and everything. So a lot of it was sad, and a lot of it was, you know, kind of funny with the interactions with like, you know, Lily and everything. When Lid called Lily like Lilychi, which was really funny and everything, and then seeing like more so of like Belle's interactions with everybody else and such, and like just seeing like Mikoto and Haruhime, like everybody's like hitting pictures, like, you know, cheers and such, and then you got Haruhime and Mikoto just standing there, and then everybody like hits their cups with theirs and whatever, and just doing like cheers and having a party, and they're like just seeing Haruhime and Mikoto was just so funny in this episode, and they're just like what? Like they were very high, like paranoid, like very anxious, or like their anxiety was just like they were just so stiff at, like it was so good. And then, you know, they warmed up with the dancing and everything. It was a good episode with all of that too. And again, like it was a lot of information dumping and whatnot, which made it a really good episode to me. Like I really loved it, and like just their interactions and whatnot. And then Lid talked about another Xenos that like became, that like just arrived, that was a new recruit of their kin, who is stronger than Lid, which is very interesting, and that Lid is actually the leader, and then that one, the newcomer, actually went down to the lower levels to train more. So I can't wait to see that character. I'm probably going to see that character next episode, next 2 episodes or something like that, which is going to be very fun to see. So I'm just excited for that, and it was a very good episode, funny, like serious, a lot of info dumping, and it was also heartbreaking at the end too, which like not only the scene with Belle, but that like, you know, Weenie and her little group were hearing screams of like a siren or one of like the Harpy girls. And the moment I saw that Harpy girl, I thought it was Ray, and like I freaked out. Like I thought it was her, but it wasn't. It turns out I think it was somebody else, and she was getting like, you know, she had so many cuts and bruises and stuff, and one of her eyes was bloodied, and like it was just, oh my gosh, I felt so uncomfortable seeing that. And like those people lured Weenie's like group to there, like, you know, Dix and the Ikolos's family and everything, to like, it seems like they're gonna like take them out or something, and like kill maybe all of them except for Weenie. I don't know, but I think somebody's gonna come and possibly rescue them. I hope so. That's it's scary, because like one of them in the group tried to attack Dix or whatever, but then the guy with that giant sword just cut the one in half, that Xenos in half, and crushed oh my gosh, it felt uncomfortable, honestly. And then like even before that, actually, want something real quick, Lid eating that one of those monster stones or whatever makes them stronger. Definitely reminded me of something that happened in the spin-off series of Sword Oratorio, I believe that's called, with like, you know, the Loki Familia and eyes and everything and stuff. Like you get to kind of like see that a little bit in that spin-off series. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. It's real good stuff. But anyways, yeah, at that end, very scary. I feel like somebody is going to arrive there and help out, but I also think at the same time they all might get killed off except for Weenie, and they're gonna take Weenie back to the surface, and some shit's gonna happen, some terrible stuff's gonna happen, and then like maybe that's how like Ainz and Belle are gonna like interact with like her sword like sticking at his face and whatnot, that he's gonna try to rescue Weenie and whatnot, and she might not allow it or something. I don't know, like a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. But anyways, what did you guys think about this episode? Leave down in the comments your thoughts about this episode, your thoughts about what I said and everything, and like this video if you did, like the video if you liked anything I had to say, like the video if you like Danmachi in general and whatnot, and subscribe to the channel for more reviews, vlogs, unboxings, live reactions, discussion videos, and things like that. So gentlemen, stay classy, ladies, stay sexy, most importantly, everybody, you gotta stay a little nasty, right? So peace and love, and I will see y'all later in the next video. Peace out. Peace out. May the force be with you always, and plus, Ultra, Latom, Belle. Oh my gosh, I hope you're able to rescue Weenie again, because this is just, it's getting very intense. It's getting very intense. Peace out, guys. Man.